friends. Hello, my friends. This is me, Stu. And this is an important broadcast because today we're talking about the coronavirus and your business. Listen, obviously, the coronavirus is something that is top of mind for so many of us because we're all being impacted by it in some way or another. You know, personally, we're being impacted by it. Our businesses are being impacted by it. Millions of people worldwide are being impacted by it, either directly or indirectly. The coronavirus is impacting all of us. The question is what kind of an impact is this going to have and mean for your business, my business, and all of us? And there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty about the future of so many of our businesses because we're entering territory that we, just don't know. We're not familiar with. We never dealt with this. We've never experienced anything like this. And I want to make something really clear. What we are dealing with is very serious, right? Like people are getting sick. People are dying. And there are so many situations that are completely heartbreaking. And this is just on the health side. But then there is the ripple effect that we're experiencing on the business side, right? Like mandates, sanctions, restrictions, all these things that are forcing businesses to press pause, forcing businesses to completely change direction. And if you know another business owner right now who is uncertain, has questions, I want you to share this with them right now. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching this, I want you to share this because here's the bottom line. I also want to present another perspective on what is happening right here, right now. Because with all of this, with people being quarantined, people being locked down, businesses having to close their doors because it's not recommended that people go out in public or in areas where there's bigger people. There are events being canceled like by the thousands. I've had many conversations this week alone with peers and colleagues, some who stand to lose millions of dollars in the next few months because of events being canceled, business models being uprooted and changed. All of this is forcing you and me as business owners to listen. We're having to press pause. We're having to listen, and we're like glued to what is happening. Last night, yesterday I was in a completely different country, right? I was away with my family and we were scrambling to get a flight to come back in time before our prime minister closes our borders. And it's a crazy uncertain time. And with that, we're having to respond as business owners because it's a very serious situation. None of us have experienced anything like this. And all of this is creating uncertainty. And uncertainty is tremendously dangerous for us as entrepreneurs because uncertainty can create a situation where we freeze and it prevents us from moving forward, and not doing anything is going to do more harm than we could ever imagine. And so this is why I'm coming to you today, because I want to talk to you about your business and how to navigate your business in the midst of the coronavirus. And I think this message is more important today than it has ever been before, because there are two ways in which you and I as business owners can show up. One, we can hide, we can retract, we can retreat, or we can use what makes us entrepreneurs. And that is our given ability to be able to solve problems that we see in the marketplace, to show up and serve. And that's what I want to talk to you about here today. So I want to talk to you about three actions that I believe all entrepreneurs right now in this time should be taking. Number one is to show up and serve. Listen, I was recently asked by somebody if I still plan on moving forward with our upcoming promotions. And I sent this person a voicemail message and I said, heck yes. Because I believe it's the best thing that we can do as entrepreneurs right now is to show up. I feel like we have a responsibility to show up, both for our audience and for our teams. Jamie Swanson, who is in my Impact Mastermind, she was sharing today in a Voxer message, something that I believe she is spot on. And she said, right now is probably the best time for showing up for our audiences. This is an opportunity for us to create community and connection that right now they can't get anywhere else. And so this is the best time to show up as an entrepreneur. It's about creating a safe place to communicate with your audience, to show up for one another, to support one another, and to form a powerful community. Now, I'm not going to talk about membership sites because that is absolutely my bread and butter. That's what I teach. But at the same time, this is what memberships help us do, is create community. And we need you to show up right now. We can't have you hiding and retreating and giving up on one's business, because that's not going to help anybody. And now, do I think we need to be sensitive to the situation? Absolutely. Do I think that you and I need to be careful and cautious about our health and the health of others? Without a doubt. As I said, coronavirus, it is serious. But do I think that we should stop our businesses? No. In many ways, I think it presents an opportunity for us to show up with compassion and support people like never before. Now, we experienced this, as I said, in the last few days, trying to get home. Our travel plans completely got kiboshed. My family and I, we were to be away for an extended period of time. All of those plans got completely changed. Things that we had booked, travel arrangements, hotels, flights, excursions, Airbnb, all that kind of stuff, all got kiboshed. And so in and amongst that, we've had to deal with all kinds of companies during this. And it is amazing to watch the difference in the way certain companies have chosen to show up during this time. Some companies were real, am I allowed to say this? Like real hard asses about the situation, which was like, well, sorry, you booked it, you paid for it. There's nothing I can do. There's no refunds, no blah, 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 blah. It was a nightmare. But then other companies were proactive in their approach. In fact, there was one excursion company called us before we even called them and proactively gave us a refund, proactively thanked us for wanting to do business with them and said, given the circumstance, we want to proactively give you a refund. We hope that we will see you again later. You bet your bottom dollar we're going to go back to that company, because it's a time for us to show up and serve. And there are all kinds of great examples of companies who are doing this right now. For example, here in Canada, Bell, internet, phone, all that kind of stuff, they're waiving extra usage fees for the next 2 months. They know people are quarantined at home. So internet usage is going to go through the roof. So instead of penalizing people with high fees, what are they doing? They're waiving those extra fees for the next 2 months. Awesome way to show up and serve. Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a pharmacy up here in Canada. They're blocking an hour exclusively for seniors to be able to shop because of the madness that is happening in certain stores with, resources and supplies and all that kind of stuff. It's creating, high volume areas. And so they're saying, look, these are the highest risk people. So let's block a time just for them so they can get what they need without being in harm's way. A bunch of tribers in our community launched a Facebook group run by Misty Harris to help other entrepreneurs at home with their kids, right? Donna Clark, who's in our community, is hosting free online paint parties. Bottom line, this is an opportunity for you and I, my friend, as entrepreneurs to, number one, show up and serve. People don't forget the companies that show up and serve. Action number 2 for you and I. Identify the new problem and solve it. Listen, this is what we do. You and I, as entrepreneurs, this is what we do. We identify problems and we solve them. This is what we do. This is what we are made for. This is what businesses are built upon. So identify the new problem and solve it. Now, I want to say this. I'm going to give you some examples. But before I say this, there's a difference between identifying a new problem and manipulating and taking advantage of the situation. Like the idiots who went out and bought all the supply of Lysol and then are schlepping it for 10 times the price. That is not what I'm talking about. We all know what kind of a move that is. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is identifying the new problem and solving it. For example, right now, millions of people are working from home or working virtually who have never had the experience of being able to do this. So this is a new problem for a lot of companies to have their workforce, which is normally in person, now completely virtually distributed. So there's a huge problem here because how do they do that effectively if they've never known how to do it before? This is an opportunity for companies who do have that experience to show up, to help bridge that gap, to solve that new problem. Tools, resources, best practices, systems, tips, tricks, all about how to work from home or work with a distributed team. Right now, there are millions of parents at home with kids not knowing or having a clue about what to do. Yesterday, I saw one of the best tweets on Twitter, which was from a dad who said, I've spent my first 30 minutes homeschooling my kids. And I've come to the conclusion that teachers should be paid $1 million a year. This is a new problem, right? Because with schools being closed and parents being quarantined at home, you've got this clash of priorities of trying to take care of the kids and keep them moving forward and not just having them binge on TV all day. Meanwhile, trying to balance work and getting things done. So it's this weird moment in time, right? But it's also a new problem. And there are companies right now, businesses that are flourishing because parents worldwide are trying to scramble and solve this problem. In fact, I heard this morning of an e-commerce company who is having record sales of puzzles and games that are just selling like crazy. Things that parents can buy to keep their kids busy at home. By the way, P.S., if you are a parent at home, I want to recommend that you go to readwithanna.com. Readwithanna.com. This is a perfect example. So Anna DiGilio is a grade 1-2 teacher who taught for more than 20 plus years. And her specialty was helping grade 1-2 kids read. Not only read, but read fast. Like be able to pick up reading very quickly. In fact, she was such a great teacher. She had parents literally jockeying to get in her class because kids would go into her class not knowing how to read a word, come out of the class reading books and loving it. Now, Anna left her teaching profession and started a very successful membership site serving teachers by providing lesson plans so that they could replicate what she was doing in the class in their own classes. So their lesson plans saved these teachers tons of time. But Anna saw a new problem emerging amongst all of this, which was parents are now experiencing the problem of how do I help my kids read? What do I do with my kids during this time? So for free, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this week, Anna is providing reading lessons for grades 1 through 4. So think about this. She's solving a real-world problem by helping kids read for free every day this week. And meanwhile, what does that do? That also gives parents an amazing hour of time where they don't have to worry about their kids. Their kids are being taken care of, and so they can focus on their own stuff. So it's an awesome example of solving a new problem. What about the fact that now so many of us who are quarantined are stuck, and what do we eat? What do we do? We can't go to restaurants anymore, right? Restaurants are being shut down. Well, similarly, this creates a new problem. A local chef that we have hired for several catering, to help cater several events that we have done. We called her this morning, and she's identified the new problem, and she's solving it. She's creating these takeout orders. So she's created, she's not done this before. She's created this new offer for families to be able to get these beautiful meals delivered to their door. Or I want to recommend Trisha Callahan. Trisha has an amazing website at onceamonthmeals.com. Her business is booming right now. And you can understand why. Her business is all about freezer cooking and how to cook a whole bunch and freeze it so that you got meals at your fingertips. She has a very successful membership, but right now it's even more important for people because people have a new problem that they've not experienced before. Or there's like other services, like other subscription services, like Netflix. Netflix has experienced a 12.4% growth. So this is a new problem. Being quarantined is a new problem that we have never experienced before, but it also presents a new opportunity. Social distancing. There's this company that my wife and I subscribe to. They deliver organic fruits and veggies to our door every week. And so we paused this subscription because we were away for over a month and we were going to be away for another month. So we were going to be away for 2 months. So like, as I said, last night we were scrambling to get home. We got home. So my wife called up this service. It's called Mama Earth, and to reactivate our subscription. And the lady said, I'm so sorry. Like we can't reactivate it this week. And my wife's like, what are you talking about? Like we've been a subscriber for 5 years. And she's like, no. We're going to reactivate it as soon as we can. She said, we've just been inundated with all kinds of new customers and new business. And we can't keep up right now. So we're not taking any new activations or orders until we can fulfill the new ones that we just got. With there being no live events right now or sporting events or things of that nature, it presents a new opportunity for virtual summits or online learning like courses and membership sites. People are at home with more time than they've ever had available to them, ever. And it's an opportunity to be able to serve them, to be able to help them pursue passions that they perhaps otherwise have never found time for. Good Life Gym, or gyms all around the world, closing their doors. Well, Good Life Gym saw this, identified the new problem, and solved it. They're now providing online workouts. And there are many memberships right now that provide online workouts, and it is a massive opportunity because what do people want to do? They want to do something. They don't just want to sit and sit on the couch and veg. Most people want to find a way to do something during this time, make the most of this time. In fact, my wife's mastermind, Lady Strength Mastermind, my wife has arranged for her trainer, who normally trains her at the gym, to do virtual trainings for her and all the girls in the mastermind. Identify the new problem and solve it. Identify the new problem and solve it. So, number one, show up and serve. Number two, identify the new problem and solve it. Number three, lead. We need you to lead. And I'm talking about you leading yourself. I'm talking about you leading your family. I'm talking about you thinking about, what does this make possible? It's a powerful question. My good friend, Michael Hyatt, taught me that question. And when things don't go your way, or when things are challenging, or when things are tough, ask yourself the question, what does this make possible? What does this make possible? As it relates to being quarantined with your family, it's more family time, right? It's more time to pursue passions, maybe. Perhaps it's time to pursue shared experiences with one another. I was sharing with somebody earlier today that my daughter loves calligraphy. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to is spending time with her to learn lettering and calligraphy together, to create that shared experience with one another. But when we look back on this time, my friend Nicholas Wilton had a great question, or a great statement. He said, when we look back on this time, we want to ask ourselves and say, I used this time to blank. What are you going to use this time for? What are you going to use this time for? It's time for you to lead yourself, and it's time for you to lead your family. It's also time for you to lead your community and your customers. What does this time make possible for them to do now that wasn't possible before? Speaking of Nicholas Wilton, he's an amazing artist who teaches people how to become a fine artist themselves. He recently, before the craziness of the coronavirus, just launched his course. Very successful launch. But inevitably, he had some people who came to him who said that they didn't join because they just didn't have the time. Now, what's interesting is he's had some of those people who have now come back and said, I got the time. I want back in. So this is also an opportunity for you to lead your community, lead your customers, and lead your team. What does this make possible for your business today that was not possible 2 weeks ago, a month ago? Amazon, perfect example, just recently hired 100,000 new people to help with deliveries. Universal Pictures releasing its current movies online because people can't go to the movie theaters. Disney Plus, they're going to release Frozen 2 earlier than expected. All of this is creating an opportunity for you and I to lead our teams to try different things, to experiment in different ways. In some cases, it's created urgency for us to take those ideas that have been stewing, that have been percolating for some time, and now try it, experiment. But this is an opportunity for you, my friend, to step up and step into what this time period and the gift that this time period has given us. Step up into that. Take hold of that opportunity. Lead yourself, lead your family, lead your community, lead your customers, and lead your team. My friends, I wish I could sit here and say that this is all going to be over real soon. I wish I could say that don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. There are absolutely going to be turbulent times for all kinds of people and businesses. But I want you, number one, to show up and serve. Number two, I want you to identify the new problem and I want you to solve it. And number three, I want you to lead. I want you to lead yourself, your family, your community, your customers, your team. Now is the time to lead. Listen, my friends, I know it is scary out here. I know that it's uncertain. We've never had to navigate this kind of thing before. But what I also know is that there are always people who come out of the other side of this thriving. Not because they are manipulating the situation, but because they're choosing to show up and serve, because they're choosing to identify the new problems and they're stepping up and solving it. And they're choosing to lead. And that's what I want to encourage you to do here today, right now. You guys are awesome. Holy cow, look at how active you are on here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for your comments. I'm going to leave it with that, gang. If you know another business owner who is in the midst of this, who is uncertain, who doesn't know how to navigate this, I want you to share this with them. Because to me, we can either hide and retreat and live in a place of fear, or we can use our God-given abilities as an entrepreneur to solve problems, to serve people, and to help people at the highest level. And this is what we need, my friends. We need this from you, from me, from all of us. So I want to wish you good health. I want to encourage you to stay safe. I want to encourage you to stay quarantined for however long it takes. But in the midst of that, I also want to encourage you to be the best entrepreneur that you can be, to be the best business owner that you can be, to step up and serve your people, to step up and serve your audience. And who knows, through all of this may come some absolutely amazing breakthrough for your business and for your life. My friend, you're awesome. Have yourself a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.